Hey everybody, Jerome Maldonado, and welcome to Wednesday's Real Talk on Real Estate. And today we're going to be talking about how you can actually build a house without having a contractor's license. And so I'm excited today to bring that to you guys. Remember, if you guys have some distractions, you guys like the subject, pound that like button and click and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content just like it. So we buy home, we buy land, we build houses, we buy land, we build apartment complexes. And in early years, I was the general contractor in all the cities that we did business in. So we were doing a lot of stuff in Texas. If you're in Texas, you don't need a contractor's license at all because they don't require it. You just need a business license. You need to follow code. Now, in the state of Arizona, you do. State of New Mexico, you do, and most states across the United States, you do. Now, in Washington state, you don't need a contractor's license. So the states that don't require you to have a contractor's license, obviously, those states are great states to do business in because you can contract without a license because there's not a requirement. Now, most cities across the United States, most states do require that you have a contractor's license. So, hence, how do you go around not having a contractor's license? So there's three ways, ladies and gentlemen, there's three ways. So if you want to buy land and build your own house for yourself, you can do it. Or if you want to buy a piece of land, you want to build a house, what's called a spec home, that you spec out. You do the design, you spec out the designs, the trim out, the size, all of the finish items, and the layout, the floor plan, everything. Then you can do that and you can resell it as well. That's another option that you can do. Or you can build and you can utilize it for your portfolio for short-term rentals, Airbnbs, people that are exercising the burst strategy that buy distressed properties, renovate them, and then refinance them. You can do that as well. You can finance out your equity and then keep it and rent it out long-term, do a long-term rental. So there's a lot of different reasons why somebody would buy a piece of land, build a house. Most of it is to earn profits, right? Either as an asset. It's really a liability if you're doing it for your own investment. You know, you're gonna live in it, you're married, got children, there's a need, right? But really, buying a single family home is actually a really poor investment if you're doing it only for the fact of having it for yourself. Now, if it's income producing, it's good, but how do you build it without a contractor's license? That's the question. That's what most people want to know today. That's why you guys are tuning in. And so I'll tell you guys, the first way to do it is through the means of doing what's called an owner build, okay? That means that you're the owner and you spec the house out and you will get a permit as an owner builder, okay? So you're the owner and you're building it. And so you go and you obtain the same permits that you would if you were a general contractor. Now, if you're an owner builder, different states require different requirements. And a lot of banks, I always tell people, if you're gonna do an owner build, you wanna have a relationship with the financial institutions more time than not, because most banks require that you have experience if you're gonna be building professionally. And so if you have a relationship with a bank, like one of our students just did this a couple weeks ago. He went in, he had a long-term banking relationship with one of the banks he deals with. He went in, told him that he was going to be building this house as an owner builder. He was going to be reselling it. They approved him on the loan and he's building a house as an owner builder, okay? Now the state required him to sign some affidavits because of warranty and legality purposes that he was required to sign. In each state, when you go into permitting, we'll probably have you all do the same exact thing or something similar. But you could still do what's called an owner build. Now, if you want to reduce your liability, there's two other ways that you can do it without a contractor's license. So you can obtain a general contractor that has a license and you can hire them as a consultant. So they don't GC the project for you. They don't go in and bid the project at $200+ a square foot to go out and build this property for you. What they do is they charge you a flat fee as a consultant. They limit their liability. They'll have you sign a release of liability waiver that releases them of certain liabilities, right? Like warranties and so forth and so on. But you're essentially using their license to build the house. Now, most smart contractors, unless you pay them a consulting fee, will not just let you use their contractor's license. Like if somebody came to me and said, hey, Jerome, I want to be able to utilize your contractor's license. Can I get a permit under your license? and build a house under your license? I tell them absolutely not. Because one, I don't have a contract, and two, I can then own the liability. The state, most times than not, the state that you're doing business in does not care about financial or monetary reward, okay, about profits. All they care about is that you followed code. And if your license is on the table, FYI, for most of you contractors out there, then you are 100% responsible for making sure that everything on that project follows code. And if it doesn't, then in spite of any financial reward, you have to fix it and make it follow code. So those of you guys who go in and hire general contractors as a consultant, they're gonna make you sign an affidavit of releasing them of the liability. But you can go in, you can hire them as a consultant, use their license to get a permit, use their license to be able to go out and get your construction loan, and hence have them as a consultant. What this also does for you is that most states require 2 years of professional experience. So if you want to go out and get your contractor's license and you hire them as a consultant, now you're working along the side of that contractor as a consultant, and that vets most states out as experience in contracting. Hence, in 2 years of doing that, if you start off, it takes you 2 years to do a few builds and 2 years of hiring them as a consultant. Then you can go out after 2 years and apply for your own contractor's license, which is pretty damn cool. Okay, now not in every state, but in most states. Okay, so something to think about. And most of the consulting fees will be anywhere between probably $5,000 and $20,000, depending on what they're doing for you, what services they're going to offer to you as a consultant. Now, as a consultant, it may be something as simple as they help you and assist you in the entitlements, getting architecture, engineering, getting the survey work done, and then each stage of the phase, maybe right before inspections, you call them up and say, "Hey, Mr. Contractor, can you do me a favor? We're doing our pre-slab inspection. Before the inspector comes out, can you just come out and check and make sure that things have been done correctly?" Then they come out, they spend an hour down there, and they look through it. They give you a little list of things to fix, if there's any, which most of the time there will be an item or two. And then you fix those items and call in for an inspection. Then when you get past frame stage and you need a framing inspection, you do the exact same thing. So hiring a general contractor as a consultant is pretty cool. That can work out really well. Check out this solar farm behind me here. That's what a solar farm looks like. Pretty cool. Good use of land here, of open space. So that's the second way. Now, I know you guys aren't really interested in the third way. The third way is what we teach our students and that work with us in our inner circle. But you guys aren't really interested in that third way. So I'm just going to stop this video, okay? Just joking. I'm just kidding with you guys. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to give you that third way. But pound that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you guys want more content like this and you guys want more information that'll help you guys with options when you're buying land, building houses to generate 6 figures doing it, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, third way, last but definitely not least, this is the most rewarding way to do it, because for those of you guys who don't have the experience and don't even want to just have a consultant, but you want to have a general contractor build it for you, this third way is a great way to get in the business, to get started in the business of buying homes, buying land and building houses and making profits. And you can still make between $80,000 to $100,000 doing it this way. This is what we teach our students. There's a barrier of entry, so most of the people that work with us in our inner circle, they don't have contractor's licenses. I don't have a contractor's license anymore in Arizona. This is how I hire general contractors in Dallas, Texas. This is how I hire general contractors in Washington State. This is how I hire contractors in Phoenix, Arizona. This is how I hire contractors down in the Palm Springs area where we're building. This is how we hire contractors almost everywhere except for right here in the Albuquerque market, which is where I'm licensed, and we do a lot we'll contract ourselves. We still have our full-time construction company. I hire general contractors on what's called a cost-plus model, okay? So what we do is we pay general contractors 15% the cost of materials plus labor. So whatever the labor is and materials, so hence, if they're a general contractor and they're hiring subcontractors, whatever the bid prices are, we pay them 15% above the bid prices to GC that project for us. So instead of going out and building out a single family home at $200+ a square foot for build costs, we can do it for closer to about $145 a square foot or less on new single family homes, nice homes. Homes that, when we are the GC, we could build out for $120, $125 a square foot, but we're hiring a GC, right? So we don't have to worry about that. Now, I'd rather manage a GC than employees without of state construction projects. Why? Because then I got to manage one person. They get to manage the subcontractors and everybody else. So I just do a master walkthrough. When I do this master walkthrough, I do a little checklist of everything that I'm concerned about. When I walk through all those concerns, I give them to one person. I deal with one person. I don't have to deal with a bunch of other people. And what's cool about that is then what I'm managing is more one person and paper. And well, here's how I manage paper, and this is how you do it. You hire a general contractor in what's called a cost plus model. And if you go out, you retain a general contractor, I promise you guys go in, you guys look for general contractors, just ask them, say, do you work on a cost plus model? Will you do it on a percentage of the cost of materials and labor, and then do it on a flat percentage fee? Now, some of them will do it as low as 10%. We get a little leery for guys that'll work for that inexpensive, but 15 is probably about a good going number. Now, Washington State, it's a little bit more expensive to live there, so most of these guys are working for about 17% cost plus, but our profitability is bigger. We're making over $300,000 on each dwelling down in the Washington State market. So we have a little bit more of affordability. We are willing to pay a little bit higher premium on labor because most of the average single family homes in Washington State in the area we're building in sell for over $1 million. Now, across the United States, our market sector is between $450,000 and $800,000. That's the mass majority of our acquisitions. So we typically pay people a 15% cost plus. But this is a great way for people to get started. And if you work side by side as the developer, you're the developer. You don't need a license to be a developer, just a business license, a simple LLC, and you hire a general contractor. They're your trade professional, and you work with them for 2 years. Then you can go off and vet the experience of working with that general contractor on your own projects for 2 years, and then go get your contractor's license in most states, right? Different states, different requirements. Not every state is exactly the same. You need to check your state requirements. Now, that is the third, and that is another incredible way to build a house without having a general contractor's license. So those three ways, ladies and gentlemen, and all three of those ways work. You can do an owner build, you can hire a general contractor or consultant, or you can do a cost plus model. I pick the cost plus model. I don't need a consultant. I'm already a pain in the ass as it is managing projects, and I manage paper. So when I manage paper, what I mean by that, because I want to explain that to you guys before I end this video, is that you're going to manage one general contractor when you hire them on a cost plus model. Love that, because I'm dealing with one professional and not a bunch of nominal employees. Not that I have anything against nominal employees. I've just been doing it my whole life. I've been doing it for over 30 years. I want to be able to just make my life easier and manage less employees and more professionals, and then let them manage the people. Let them manage the nominal day in, day out employees. Okay, so I manage paper because if you guys, some of you guys are sitting here thinking, and which is smart, and you're saying, well, Jerome, what if they pay the highest, most premium prices to subcontractors and on materials, and then I have to pay not only the premium prices, but I also have to pay 15% on top of that? That's a lot of money. That can sink me right there. And you're right, it can. So you have to manage paper. How do you do that? Well, you work side by side with them. So you're getting bids as well. You're getting trade professional bids from the electricians, plumbers. Until you know this process, until you know what things are supposed to cost, you get prices on roofs, from roofers, painters, electricians, plumbers. You're getting trade professional references from each of the trades, so that way you know you're not getting hosed on overinflated prices. So then you put budgetary numbers together, and for those people who work with us in our inner circle, we have a full spreadsheet that I developed back in 1998. My dad and I sat down on a computer, and I called my dad over. My dad doesn't know anything about construction because he's worked behind a desk as an accountant his whole life, but he's analytical, knows how to build spreadsheets. He built one house that was our house when I was when I was probably like 8 years old, and he built it himself. So I knew he knew the process, but it was the only house he's ever built in his entire life. But my dad's pretty smart as an accountant, and I sat down with my dad and I back in 1998, and we put an Excel spreadsheet together with every trade on there and the sequence that those trades are supposed to be done. And what I tell my inner circle is obviously that spreadsheet has evolved over the course of time, but I tell them reverse engineer your build before you get started. And when you have your set of plans and you're waiting for permits and you're trying to vet out your general contractors and you're trying to go in and get building permits, vet out your subcontractors at that time. Have a bunch of those prints made, send them out in PDFs to all your subcontractors, that you're vetting out and get prices back. Get 3 bids on every trade. And when you get those 3 bids on every trade, now when you hire a general contractor and they come to you with your bids, because they're going to bill you an invoice, you just put in your contract that it has to be fair market value, and you have the ability to be able to also vet out and get bids on each trade. And so when you write your contract out, you go in, you compare your bids to their bids, and if their bids are like skewed way out of the ballpark, you sit back and question them and say, hey, I got 3 random bids here from 3 contractors that do the exact same work off the exact same set of plans. Why is your guy 20% more? And most of these guys won't be. You're going to find out really quick, really quick, that the prices are going to come in with a small margin variance between each other, very small margin variance between each other. And so you'll end up you will see some trades that come in like $5,000 more. Okay, why? Why did one guy come in so much more expensive? And so you just got to shop more contractors, and then you hold your general contractor, making sure he's getting you fair market value bids. And as soon as they know that you're on top of your game, they won't play the inflation game on you. They're just going to give you fair market value bids once they know you know what you're talking about. And the only way to do that is to get your shoes dirty, get out in the field, and get some bids. And so if you don't have to be a general contractor, but it's nice to be able to go out there. Now, some of you guys have done some of these home projects in your own home, and you've had people come over to your own house and give you bids on heating and cooling, decks, concrete work, landscaping, whatever it is, painting. And so just pretend that you're doing it for your own home, but you're not. You're doing it for your spec home that you're going to make a profit on. And so hence, if you're going to go out, buy land, build houses through the means of those 3 methods, any one of those 3s work tremendously. I just choose the cost plus model. It works extremely well, and I build relationships with contractors. In fact, several of them I've made millionaires. I have 3 different contractors, 3 different cities that'll all net over $1 million on 3 different apartment builds that we currently have going on right now. I have another one up in Dallas that's going to be going up. The general contractor will make just shy of $3 million in 1 year doing a cost plus model out in Dallas, Fort Worth. I mean, a great opportunity for a general contractor, especially one that's less affluent but has the knowledge, wisdom, and the desire to be able to go out and work directly with you on a cost plus model. They do extremely well. Plus, it saves me a whole shit ton of money. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, those are the 3 ways to go out, buy land, build a house without having a contractor's license, and be able to take advantage of the upside, and also vet out some experience so that if you desire to ever get a contractor's license, you can now utilize, through 2 of those methods, you can utilize the experience of the contractors that you're dealing with to be able to go out and get your own. But nonetheless, you guys go out and make it a great day. God bless you guys. Nate, thanks for joining. All of you guys, thanks for joining. Pound that like button if you like the content, want more just like it. Click and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week, next Wednesday, on Real Talk on Real Estate. God bless you guys. Go out and make it a great day and compound your success.